The energy is not embarrassing until it is. So here we have the energy. And the energy says, please leave me alone. I don't know who you are. And the energy says, then it says, I know who you are. Stay there. And then the energy says, well, now you care, so now stay there. We go, now we don't care, so now don't stay there. Someone says, don't stay there. You're supposed to move away. You're supposed to move around. And you're supposed to take time out of your day to do everything unusually extraterrestrially mean, including your makeup or anything seen into the energy or anything actually putting on frosting tits. No. We're not supposed to put on frosting tits. Frosting tits or frosting tits. Everybody says, let's put on frosting tits. Everybody says, let's actually take the energy out. Everybody says, let's find out where this is. So this is one card and one energy of time. Now the time is up, and now the time is up. Because now, somewhere here the energy is up for people to just leave this person alone. Somewhere here the people aren't even being nice. It must be something about the internet. This one's about the internet. People are trying to be repeating the internet in tarot readings, which is actually not internet. This is not internet. This is tarot readings, which means the people can be like they are. Including, they can be like they are. Including the energy is supposed to be where it is. Unusual for what this is actually Egyptian. Where the light's coming in, staring right at us. And as we already know that energy to be for anything spiritual, religious, or anything that can, we are Egyptian. So when someone says, don't use lighting, then why are we not using lighting? Some of us are supposed to stay so still. Those are very specific people. This person is of Egyptian turn, or she's supposed to actually make it about Egyptians. She's actually supposed to make it mean for if she wants to make it mean. Including that she didn't need to fix her makeup. Including the afterlife's trying to tell her to slow down. They just don't know the difference. They're trying to say, is it mixed race? And then we have to say, we already did the reading for mixed race, so don't do it again. Including that the phone died. So this one, the phone died, and people are trying to say, oh, it got erased. Where the reading already went over mixed race. And someone's saying, in science, we're trying to understand why this person and that person is not the same thing. Including, we know the difference of people, but we don't understand why. Some people are that disappointed on Earth as to what some of this looks like. But this is supposed to be beautiful for what it is. It's supposed to be shined upon, looked upon, and looked less on for what it's supposed to be for. I think that's supposed to stay right where it is. Even if it cries. Someone says, if you cry, you chose to cry. But as we already just saw, she doesn't understand why. 2 readings brought her back in as mixed race. She's trying to understand, why do we have to go over mixed race again? She says, what's weird is, sometimes as black people, we want to say, hey, stop going over black. Some here, we're the same thing. We're mixed race. Some of us just want to sing. We'll say, okay, we'll sing. The collective energy is collective energy, which means some of us just want to sing or be prideful or be of pride or of a voice or of the actual anxiety of voice. Where people don't even want to use their voice for who this is. They say, I don't want to use you. You're not mixed race. You're just trying to say mixed race shirts. Including, they don't know you. Including that's where they don't know you. And they say, oh, this just means we don't know you. This is a weird starseed one where it's coming up right away to say starseeds are actually here to fix these. Starseeds are starseeds where they're coming up right away to you to say, don't do it. It's fixed. She says, don't do it again. It's still fixed. It's called starseed. We'll say it's just starseed, which means in her natural emotions, she had natural emotions, including that she's supposed to. Including she's supposed to take her hair down if she wants to take her hair down. She says, oh, it's not the one you chose. She says, okay, I didn't know. And she says, oh, it's not the one I chose. She says, okay, my hair's down. So that one manipulated it. So that one's actually the worst case scenario of dark arts. So she doesn't know the difference. And she's convicted of crime. She says, oh no, is this considered dark arts if I asked my own hair down? She says, how? So someone is jealous of something that somebody already has in difference. Is it maybe tan skin? We don't need the difference. We just needed conviction. Someone says conviction is just conviction until it's time. Including someone's just not even embarrassing. They're just asking to do this again because you're not supposed to be embarrassed by it. She says no one's mixed race until they are. Including some of this is on her skin because it's mixed race. It's supposed to be where it is. Including she's Hispanic. And she's supposed to be more Hispanic. Harry says, how did so much Hispanic get in this one person? We're mixed race. We're not supposed to look at each other like this either. She says, what's weird is how we actually don't even look at ourselves until people look at us. And that's where it's mean. Some of them are in here and people didn't have anybody asking us questions. Someone didn't ask us anything. Someone didn't actually tell us anything. They just kind of took their turn with us. Including, sometimes we don't know what that looks like until it's time. Including, we don't have to know, but we'll be honest about it. How it's embarrassingly mean that someone didn't know the difference of mixed race or and that they look like they do. She says, the funny thing is, we're trying to see the energy right where it is, including this person. She says, I just didn't know. I just didn't know. Including Grush Show, because she knows she's beautiful where she is. She didn't need anybody to explain, ask questions, or look into her, including look into her, which is not natural as to what these gifts can and can't do. But she's trying to say, don't be mean. It's none of your concern as to where she goes or doesn't go. And where she goes and goes next is not your concern either. Including, don't look into these people. They're not your concern. They may be mixed race. Don't have it be a race either. Mixed race is who this is. They're of their own mixed race. Of course they are. So are the Polynesians. So are the people that think they're Polynesians. These are the Polynesians. We don't even know if we're Polynesian. Someone says, I have a friend who maybe doesn't know. We'll say, oh, friends. We'll say, yeah, friends. He'll say friends. They may be putting their reading away. I say, okay, friends. We'll say friends. We'll say, yeah, friends. We'll say friends. Some maybe want to try the sex, sacred sexuality. They don't get to try because they went like this. We only see you as this, which is someone sitting in their car. Someone says, now we're mean. Now this is a weird roar for someone checks their time. And say the reading's over. But as we already know, energy is shifting as we speak. That the energy doesn't like someone to like someone. The energy doesn't need someone to need someone. The energy asks someone to ask someone. That the energy is asking it to ask. Some of these starseed things, they're a little strange. Sometimes I almost lose my brain. These ones are weird. So this one we want to be careful how we use each other for. Including, if you move people around, you should try to learn who they are first. Including, some of the starseeds know what this is where we move. Some of them got to move us. Or take their time to move us. Some of them are sorry about moving us. No. Some of them are sorry about asking us to move us. But they said, please don't move me again. Including this man. He says, don't move me again. He says, it hurts. He says, don't move me again. I say, don't ask me again. Including, don't ask me again. How no one understands which one is which. Don't ask me again. Means don't ask me how I know I'm supposed to be the one to go. She says, I'm supposed to be the one to go? Kuya mea. He just says, not tonight. He's the same man. He just says, I know it looks different, but it's not the same thing. So he asked about not moving it. He's of a different man. The energy protects itself. So the energy says, stop taking time of your day for this. Including that man. that if you're being asked during a reading, that's actually really rude on Earth. Some of us don't know how to use this. That's different. Then you can use it. Some of us didn't know it was of the turn to use it. Then it is. Someone's got a yellow feather. So yellow feather means this. The time of this energy is now gone. It's removed from the earth. It's not good enough. It's not used. It's not fast enough to get to this. Some of these readers weren't fast enough to get to these really cool readings as to who they were. Including this reader. She just wasn't fast enough. She could have went faster to make sure to stay right here. Which is obvious, but we know how that happens. Sometimes beautiful women can become beautiful women. As we already know, some of us spend money in different ways. We didn't ask, but we were trying to ask people to us. We were trying to use people to us. We were trying to have sex. We were trying to have money. Trying to be funny about how we got money. Including that we maybe needed to boist ourselves up or do anything about our butt. Some of us know that this is now looking into itself as we speak. That someone says, oh, she maybe spent too much money on things that are gone now. But she's starting over. She knows she has to start over, including she's in a weird situation where she's starting over to start over. Where she maybe didn't know she would be a mother to where she was a mother before a mother. Some of us have to go right to where we were before. We have to understand our energies right to where it was before. The energy is sitting still in it. It says, look to the egg. The egg is in the conscious mind. It says, look for it. It says, I don't know who you are, but I know you are different. And they say, yes, it's different, but it's not that different. We say, we stayed right there. A few of us. On Earth, we know it's there. It's in the energy. It's eclipsed to it. It says, stay right there. We want to see what you look like. We'll say, no, we don't get to see. We have a few celebrities who want to see where this reading is. Even celebrities don't get to see this. Why? Because it's supposed to be for who it's for, not what it's for. Quietly, a person can go to sleep about how they're not important, but the reading is important. That the reading is trying to say, look for me. I am who I am. Look for you. I am who I am. Look for us. We are who we are. Look for this. It must be for what this is. She says this must be for what it is. Or she wasn't even supposed to be a part of these, but now she knows that it's a weird one for a part of it. Because usually it comes in as collective energy. Where she was hoping it was going to be collective energy, but now we have random people. We say we have random people because we're supposed to have random people. How do we have random people? She says, random people. You say, oh, it's supposed to be random people. Remember, says, stay away from it. It's not the stay away from it part. It's collective energy. Starseed. Got a few people in here. So now that we know that we can do that as starseeds, we actually can. We actually can. Where we know we actually can. Someone holds their power. Just asking it is just asking it. We actually can ask it right where we do. We can ask it many times and wonder why this is like this. We're the conscious collective of the few that say, why would you do this to me? They're maybe staring at a river right now. They're wondering why. Why a river? They said, why am I at a river? Maybe they're in Africa. Maybe they're in Norwegian. Someone's Norwegian. Someone's Indian. Someone's Palestine. Someone's Asian. Someone is Egyptian. They're saying, take my turn. They're looking at the wheel. They said, take my turn. I want to know why these are in this cards. They said, take my turn. They said, oh, wow. They said, take my turn. They said, please take my turn. I don't know how to do this anymore. They said, please take my turn. They're crying. They're actually crying. They're saying, please take my turn. I don't know how to do this anymore. We are the ones suffering on Earth. And we are actually suffering on Earth. I, myself, am suffering on Earth. We're suffering because we don't actually make it out. We just barely make it in. I barely make it in. We know. It's barely made in. It's old energy. It got old quick. How none of this even got in here until today. Is it old news? It's Egyptian. We say it's Egyptian, which means it should have light. And it should have energy. And it should take its time to know that somebody is just somebody somewhere. I mean, that's all they are. They're just somebody somewhere. Love and energy, and even energy, is a part of energy, which means it doesn't need anybody until it's time. Someone says, these are going to look weird because they're not going to look like anything when someone moves. Someone wasn't supposed to move again. I wasn't supposed to move. Now it will move me. The eyebrows are weird because they look weird. The eyebrows did get a little weird. As all the tears say of tomorrow, none of this makes sense because it didn't need to make sense. To her, this is sense of time, where the energy was maybe going to put it right where it was, leave it right where it was, and come up with like a cool Asian-y mixed race fake character. She's a fake character. She says to her, even to her, it's not the same thing. We'll go, of the energy, it's resurfaced as synergy. We go, synergy. She says, synergy. Synergy. We want synergy, we just didn't want synergy, where it says it was supposed to stay right here. That's why it doesn't get cleared. But some of this is mixed raced, and it's been erased as to how somebody didn't even know it was in there. Who is it? Is it the ghost? The ghost trying to say, I didn't know it was in there. Now we know that the ghost, this is the ghost doesn't know where some of this goes. The ghost says, I don't know where it goes. Just go like this. Now she's removed it. She says it's mixed race. So to her it's mixed race. To you it's bad makeup. Or we could say it's bad makeup, but it's also just makeup. Someone says it's cool makeup. Well, yeah, it's cool makeup. One can try many times to look for this reading, but this reading is getting really long. Almost too long. As to how we don't know what the energy does, the energy doesn't do it. It does it. Or somebody actually finds themselves right where they are. I wonder which one of these sounds just like this. Is it maybe someone's turn on life to know that some of these people don't actually do this? Some of them do. Some of them maybe sound very heartfelt or very cold felt. He says, I'm cold. He says, I don't know who this was. I didn't know this person was who this was. Some of us are cold. We're cold to the world. We're actually cold. I don't understand why this took so long. Some of us feel it took too long. Some of us feel it took too long to use these gifts. Yes, our gifts. Our spirituality. Our spirituality took too long. We are foster care. Foster care, meaning in the Egyptian language, it means that we didn't get taken care of. We didn't get taken care of. We were yelled at. We were screamed at. We were died at. We were taken out at. We were fostered to. We were taken out at. We were an ad. Now we're an ad. We say now we're an ad. Don't tell me how I know that an ad is an ad. That an ad is an ad for someone to be so mad. How somebody can be mad at someone using foster care. Foster care is a word in Egyptian language to say foster care, which means it can mean anything. Which means it means anything. Which means in the energy it's coming up as collective energy, which means anything. Foster care is not the actual energy. Watch as we go. Someone has to take these apart. Someone has to take this whole reading apart over and 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 over. She didn't know she had a slip nip. She's Egyptian. She had to move. She had a slip nip. She says and over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Now it's less dramatic, but watch as we go. Foster care. She says foster care. She says foster care. This is foster care, where the Egyptian came in to move the person. We say to move the person is to move the person. where the person does have to move the phone. Now the Egyptian can go in. The Egyptian went in. The Egyptian is trying to say, stop looking Egyptian. And the Egyptian is trying to say, stop looking at Egyptian. The Egyptian is trying to say, stop looking to Egyptian. The Egyptian is saying, stop looking for this Egyptian. Look for this Egyptian. Which means, look for the reader. She said, room 8. Someone says, look for my singing. They said, don't look for my singing, look for my dude. They said, don't look for my dude, look for my asking for it. They said, ask me my title of my channel. Someone says, ask me my panhandle. Someone says, ask me my hashtag. Someone says, ask me who I am. Someone says, yeah, ask us. Which means, ask us right where you want us. Some of you don't even ask. You just keep using us. We're spiritual people and you just keep using us. I wonder why. Some of us get estranged energy as to what we don't know and what we don't know yet. This one is a reader who's a celebrity. She says, I'm a celebrity reader. I'm a celebrity reader, which means I read for celebrities. And they don't even want me here. They say, please stop looking. We won't look into you. They're not supposed to look into us. I'm not supposed to look into them right here. Now it's a blue light. We want the blue light. Beautiful is the one who knows it's estranged for beautiful energy that's coming in firsthand. It's not firsthand, everybody says it's not firsthand. Then why does everybody look the same? Why are we all looking the same? The same. We're supposed to look the same? Because it's money the same? Someone asked this a while ago. Someone says, a while ago is a while ago. Now it understands the difference. Now it knows the difference. Now it knows the difference. Now it knows the difference. So it says, in this energy, it's going to show you. Remember this card? That you weren't supposed to be this person. Your mind is your mind. So don't use your mind. Your mind is your mind. Your eye is your eye. Your love is your love. Your love is your love. Someone's love was taken from them. They can scream. They can cry. They cried. Someone cried. They almost overly cried. Someone got embarrassingly mean. They got embarrassingly mean. Someone says, why did they get so embarrassingly mean? Because they wanted to. Because they can. Someone says, they can? Because they can. Someone says, something wasn't owned by you, wasn't owned by you. Including that you were trying to say, no thank you. You were trying to give it right where it was, but you were also trying to be an us. Which means some of these are still a weird way of an us, not an us. Which means everybody goes us, and it had to go us. Which means everybody has to us. Has to be, and everybody's an us. Now everybody's going to take this person apart because she didn't say the right us. No, she said the right us, including she gave the right reading. And then she went into an us, where the us started as an us. She says, yes, the us started as an us, and that's the person who got the reading. She didn't like who the person came to meet at. Yeah, she didn't need to have that person come meet at. She said, no, thank you. And we all had to say, yes, you have to stay here. And we had to say, we have to stay here. Which, if we use the word have to, now we're a misuse of power of this person. Even this one got sour. Jesus says this was wrong. Jesus says it's wrong. That someone had to say, no, thank you. And then someone said, you have to stay here. Someone says, you have to stay here. Including they did do that to her. Someone's soul is tired. Someone says, please stay here. We're trying to calm you down. We are the celebrities. We know we took your turn as a weird turn to say, you're sounding weird, but you're both sounding weird. Someone says, we're both Egyptian. Someone says, please no Egyptian. And all it was is, please no Egyptian. It wasn't necessarily take this person not in the reading. Please don't use Egyptian. Someone says, please don't use Egyptian. We said, please don't use Egyptian. We both said, please don't use Egyptian. Including when we didn't want to use Egyptian. Including maybe some people didn't want to use their Egyptian. Because they didn't want to use their Egyptian. They don't have to use it. They can say no. Someone would say, do you want to use it? And then they try to fix it. Including they try to come into a peaceful harmony with fixing it. Because they all wanted Egyptian. That's where it went to. They went to it to go to it. Now we know the actual story. But the story says they had to agree to go to Egyptian, including the person had to agree to go to Egyptian. They maybe had to say sorry and go to Egyptian, including that they can say sorry when they want to. They didn't have to say sorry. She says, no, sorry. You have to say sorry because it was her reading. She says, no. The part where we show is not the same as the reading. She says, as it is as above, so below. The Egyptian is the Egyptian. The reading is the reading. And the reading is the reading to be the reading. Everybody says, it was two different things. It wasn't supposed to be another reading and a reading. Someone's being used and used and used and used and used and used and used. Someone here, if she says no Egyptian, it's probably why. Because these are very long. They're very drawn out. They're beautiful for what they are, but they're beautiful for what they are. Including maybe she needed someone who wasn't less of a star to say, you're going to stay right where you are. Somewhere is a weird energy where someone said you have to stay right where you are, and that's where she wanted to go. I don't need to stay here. I don't need to meet this person. I don't need to meet this person. She tried to say it like that. I don't need to meet this person. It means I don't need to meet this person. She was trying to say it like that. She says that 2 people came in. She says, I didn't want to meet 2 different Egyptian people. She says, that's too many Egyptians. We said, well, I want you to. So she said, I want you to. So they said, I want you to. So she had to meet them at the Egyptians. So she met them at the Egyptians. She says, weird show, but Egyptians met at Egyptians. She says, yeah, we have to meet at Egyptians. Including she's looking away, she's uncomfortable because Egyptians are supposed to stay still for this one. Not for everyone. Now it's shown. Now it's shown that she doesn't have to stay here if she doesn't want to. Including the Egyptians now say, take your time as to know her. Because the reading was put away. Including the scratch and nose, which anybody can move in these. We're protecting the energy to say you can move in them, you just can't move in them. Which means you're not supposed to abuse the power. You're not supposed to take the advantage of the power. We're not supposed to take advantage of the person who is the flower, including the mother of the flower. Where she's a mother of a flower, including everybody's a mother of a flower. Someone says she's going to get erased if she gets erased, which means she just gets erased, not erased. Someone says use her best. Someone's a lone star. Someone says you're going to be a lone star. They say you're going to be a lone star. They say use the better word. They're trying to say please use the better word. They're trying to say use her as using her. She said you're using her to use her to use her. Which we say we're using her to use her to use her. Including there didn't need to be a tiff or a dance or a cry or a chance. She said no one needed to use a chance or use her. Someone says I'm not trying to use her to use her. It was someone who was the ghost. She says I didn't want to use a ghost. She says I didn't want to boast a ghost. And she says she didn't want to use a ghost. So she said I didn't want to use a ghost, but if you want to talk to these people, then you use the people. She says, oh, the people. So she's trying to understand what happened. So it was the people that we were using. Including this was people. Not Egyptians or people or Egyptians. It went to people and then it went to Egyptians. This is hurts. It's not supposed to hurt. Including everybody can hurt. This is where everybody hurt. Everybody can hurt. It's not one person's fault. It's this person's fault. It's not this person's fault that she was done with her reading. Including it was done with the reading. Including the reading went to the end of the reading. To go to the people. To say, let's use this for the reading, which is the Egyptian. They say, don't you want to use the Egyptian for what it's Egyptian? And they say, no. Watch as we go, repeat. Abuse of power. We say, this is an abuse of power to know that repeating it, even to repeating it, as if repeating it. Watch as she goes, this is actually her saying she doesn't even want to do this one. Okay, she doesn't want to shake back and forth. She didn't need to shake back and forth. But this is the worst case scenario of the shake back and forth. That someone is using it to use it. They're trying to say, yeah, use it. And they're trying to say, yeah, use it. And they're trying to say, yeah, use it. If she finds out that they're using it to say use it, she's going to have a whispered concern for no one's concern. That she's not supposed to be a part of someone's turning her. Or we say, yeah, you're using it with us. Now they're using it with us. Now it's Egyptian. I say, see, we're all Egyptian. We're all going Egyptian for this, that it's supposed to say right out Egyptian. We know you hurt in your feelings. She says, I know you're hurt in feelings. She She says hurt feelings. She says you hurt feelings. She says her feelings got hurt because she was supposed to have her reading. She says her reading is her reading, though. You're supposed to keep it right where it was, including you're not supposed to explain or expose or say anything about someone's lust. She said to you it was lust. She said to me it was lust. She says you didn't want someone, you didn't want someone's crush. She said I didn't want an ex. She said I didn't want an ex for you. She said I'm sorry, but I get to. He's of the same Corey. She says of a weird scenario, why couldn't we have picked any other Egyptian? She asked the Egyptians. The Egyptians say no. You can pick other ones. Does she know? She didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't know there was other Egyptians. She knew of one other Egyptian. So we go, oh, one other Egyptian. She goes, oh, one other Egyptian. Oh, one other Egyptian. Says, oh, okay, we get it. We don't know, then we don't know. Someone here is there's other Egyptians. She says she's all alone where she is. Sometimes it takes longer to not know, and then we had to learn her where she did, including the one who gave her the reading. She says, I get it. But also, you don't know me, and I don't know you, so you didn't know if there was other Egyptians. I wanted this one, so we went to this one. She says, shown. Now everybody wants to be alone about Egyptians. Everybody says Egyptians were Egyptians. She says Egyptians were Egyptians, including Egyptians are Egyptians, including everybody liked where they were for when they were. Including everybody liked them for where they were when they were, including this person. She had to agree to meet to it. She says somewhere we can disagree to disagree. Somewhere here we can agree to disagree. She says agree to disagree is what that does. It means you don't have to share it if you don't want to share it. And you may ask to share it if you want to share it, which means it's an ask to share. She says, yeah, I can agree to meet to it as an ask to share, where we might need to still ask. She says, yeah, ask. Where it's not needed to have, it can be an ask. Some readers can use it as an ask, including that we might not be happy about where it ends up at the start. So here's the start of it, where someone heard something and didn't like it, or hurts it. Somewhere here it hurts it, something hurts it, because somebody says lust, and somebody says lust. To hurt it at lust, she says hurt it at lust, including that hurt it at lust. To her it was a romantic story. Why did we hurt it at lust? We're coming in as lust. Someone says, please don't come in at lust, and she tried to say it, don't come in at lust, including that it seemed like it was coming in at lust. Something about lust. Something comes in at lust. We're like, do you know that this one is a weird lust? Right now this is a weird lust. We're trying to ask if it was a lust. Including she was trying to ask if it was a lust. And to the energy it's coming in as a no. Into the known, it went into known. It went known. Everybody don't remember it. It went known. And she was trying to ask if it was stating at lust. Because she didn't want it at lust. She didn't want it at lust. Including she didn't want it at lust. So she says, no, I didn't want it at lust. I wanted it at my love. So she wanted to know if it was lust or love, including that we had to meet them at lust or love, including we had to meet the other one at lust or love, including we had to keep going on about it. She says, I'm sorry. She says, I see the difference. She says, somewhere in here you have to go about the difference, including you have to find the difference in the Egyptian of the difference. Including when you found mine, including I could see the difference. She says, you found me at where you did. I know there was mixed race or something about mixed race, and we didn't need to use mixed race. And somebody says kids and mixed race, and we used everybody. She says Egyptian. She says, okay, Egyptian. She says, okay, Egyptian. Okay, Egyptian. We went, okay, Egyptian. That's where all the Egyptians met together at the Egyptians, including the Egyptians have to meet together at the Egyptians, including the worst case scenario. She's saying it's going to go to mixed race. To somebody's energy, it goes to mixed race. To somebody, it goes to race. To her, it goes into Oyamiya. Into. She has into and she has heaven. Where you go in heaven, you can ask in heaven. In heaven, you can ask about it in heaven. You don't need to go on about it in 7. She says, yeah, you can ask into. She says, yes, I'm the reader. You can ask into. She says, then you can ask me in heaven. She says, in heaven, I will ask in heaven. To me, it's about asking in heaven how all of this got in. Because to her, she wonders why all of it got in as her. Where it was her. And it started as her. And somewhere in her gifts are telling her, okay, slow down. Some of them say God is God, but we understand that they're going to go, God is God. To you, it's about being in heaven. Someone says, I understand. In heaven, we want to ask about love. She says about love, about where it went wrong or love. We want to ask back at love, or we want to die at love. She says, I understand, die at love. She says it's a way of saying die at love, including in heaven we go to heaven, where we don't know where it goes to die at love, including it might die at love, including Egyptians might die at love, including Egyptians believe in this term, that it means in heaven, which means we still go to heaven. We still learn of the same 7. She says 7. She says it goes to heaven, where we go to heaven. It still goes to heaven. It goes to heaven. Including it still went to heaven. It went to heaven. Including the way of the medium. It goes to heaven. Including the mediums to know it goes to heaven. Including it might be one of the 7 who go into heaven. They go into heaven as to what they learn about 7. Including men cry about this one. The 7, 7, 7, and 7 meant men that cry about heaven. Including that they are the army men that cry about heaven. She's waiting for her turn to say that crying about heaven and heaven are not the same as heaven. So heaven on earth is where this goes, is heaven. Where we wait for the end to. This is the end to, where we wait for it. Including that she didn't need anything of an army. To her it was an army. To her it was the army of Egyptian. She says, no, Egyptian. She says, no, I don't want to be the turn. She says, no, I don't want to be the queen. She says, no, I don't want to be the learn. She says, no, I don't want to hear the learn. She says, no, I don't want to hear the learn. She says, I don't want to be the learn. She says, we didn't want to be the learn. We say we didn't want to be the learn, but we were the learn. That we had to learn right where we did.